into self-destructive.
So you're scared. See, he's giving me an analysis. And so I'm not hearing his analysis. I'm hearing his present feelings. I keep my focus on what's in his heart right now. The more he's up in his head analyzing, see, the farther from being able to resolve this he's going to get. So he's a baby giraffe. He's still thinking and analyzing. And I'm helping him by just hearing what's alive in him now. He's scared to death. You really want to protect her from any harm that could happen to her from what she's doing. Right. And how painful it must be not to know skills for doing that right now. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Have you gotten enough understanding at the moment to try now to practice doing this differently with her? Or is there more understanding you'd like?
I have a strong desire to be a good father.
Oh, be careful of that one. Didn't you hear my definition of hell? It's to have children and think there's such a thing as a good parent. Ooh, be careful of that one. Let's translate that into giraffe. So you have a strong desire to develop skills that will help you connect with her in a way that'll be good for both of you. Yeah. That's a lot more fun than trying to be a good father. That's almost as suicidal to try to be a good father as to be a competent male.
No, I gave that up.
Oh, well, good. I'm relieved, yes. Yeah.
Isn't he wonderful, the way he gives empathy, the no judgment, and let the person express?
Yes.
Stay focused on what's here other than the blah, blah, blah.
And I love how Marshall really can see the core of where someone is at. He really does an amazing job of that, which is why I love his work.
And talk about the book, being present in the now.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's what's so important as well.
You know, that's why I really stress with people, when you neutralize the emotions, then all of that that's in the head starts to quiet down. Or if it doesn't, you catch it like Marshall is teaching you how to catch it and translate it into getting back in here. If you start from here and the thoughts do this, you'll catch it and you'll go, wait a minute. I don't think that way. I don't want to be saying that about someone. They're actually a really nice person. Or, you know what? If they're being a little unconscious right now, they must be having a really bad day. But if you're activated by what somebody else's lower vibration is putting off and you're reacting with your own low vibration, you have a very difficult time to get into your heart because it's activated. So when I'm working with people, I want to help them get that cleared out, neutralized, gone, so that somebody can't come along with their lower vibration. You just stay in your high.
You're not easily offended.
You're not easily offended. In fact, you can reach a point where you're not offended at all. You're just compassionate, or you're at least neutral. Because when you're neutral, you don't take offense to what somebody else is saying. It's not your stuff that they're throwing at you. So that's how you can stay high if they're low, like Michelle Obama said. And that's what you do want to do. But the easiest way to do that is to clear out your own lower vibrations. The hardest thing I think to watch right now is how right now in our world, I see a lot of people that talk about, oh, I'm kind, I'm loving, and then all of a sudden they're spewing such hatred and violence. And they're unconscious, like I was reading with Eckhart Tolle. It's like, but this is my perfect right to feel this way. But the reality is that's not who they are. And they're not coming from the best of them.
That's it. I know that you travel the globe and you're in healing groups, you continue to grow and get this consciousness, this collective consciousness out there for people. so that this can be a happier, more cooperative, like
Yes.
save our planet. Let's let that heartfelt healing. Let's
Yes.
all be
Part
the
of
best
that.
we can be, our
Yes.
highest potential selves. And I know you have such a great passion for it. And in the process, you know how it works because you have that internal happiness
Yes.
flame going. And
Yes.
it's like, really? Hey, I count my blessings. Oh, yeah, I got cut off on the way over and this and that. I could have turned into a lunatic, but I chose to be who I want to be.
Yes. And what happens is when you're not activated and you're making the choice to be happy, because that's all that's left, life becomes really simple. And it doesn't mean that difficulties won't come along, but you'll roll with it. You stay connected to a higher power. I love Napoleon Hill. He calls it higher intelligence. We geniuses tap into that higher consciousness, that higher intelligence. That's where their inspirations came from. If you read anything on any genius, they will tell you, I was tapping into something, I felt like it was just channeling through me. That is not an exception. Anyone can tap into that. You do that when you're centered. You do that when you're in those higher vibrations. It's impossible when you're in a lower vibration. If I'm angry and grumpy, I'm never going to make a connection with my higher self. But if I'm centered and feeling good, then when I try to connect with that higher intelligence, that's when the ideas come pouring through. That's when the hits of intuition come through. And that's creativity. This all becomes the norm, not the exception. And that's how it's supposed to be. Every single person has a destiny. There is no exception. But most people feel like they're at the fate of what comes their way. But as you start to clear out your reaction to the things that you just say, well, this is just my lot in life, and you realize, wow, this is not my lot in life, and I can start to take all this energy that's not locked up in pain or negativity or unhappiness, and now I can channel it into something more constructive and more life-affirming, because now I'm getting those hits of intuition coming through, and wow, I get excited about it, and then I start to put energy into it, and I really see it happening, and then pretty soon the doors are opening.
It's amazing. Not long ago, I had a night where I was so in the flow and writing little notes of a lot of different things for future book.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like, oh my gosh, I'm so in the zone.
Yes.
And when you're really in touch, we all get there.
Yes.
We all know how to be there. And it is an inside job, and that's, you want to clear out all the yuck.
Yes, the
So
blocks that get in the way are the negative emotions. The thoughts also, but you can catch those thoughts. If there's not an emotion that's running it like a freight train,
Yes.
then it's more like, a tricycle where you go, wait a minute, I don't want to be thinking this way. Because now you're not channeling energy into that thought to bring out all this that keeps that perpetuating.
There you go. So one of the things that it seems a lot of people are concerned about is the fear of death.
Yes.
And the not knowing.
Yes.
And that, it's like they can't live life because, oh, I have a cold today, or I have,
Yes.
this could be a sign, this and that and the other, oh, my stomach's out of sorts. Now, personally, I try not to pay attention to these
Good.
things.
It's the best way to live.
So, what do you do when people come and they've lost a loved one, or they're concerned that, they'll be
their own.
Their expiration date is
Yes.
coming?
Well, what I do is I clear out that fear.
The fear.
The fear, the grief, the emotions that are tied in with death, whether it be a loved one or your own mortality. It's easy to clear that out. My work is very, very simple. I should just describe it. You feel whatever low vibration or unhappiness, fear, whatever you want to call it, because everyone's different. Some people don't have fear. Some people have jealousy.
Or anger issues.
Or anger issues, or intolerance, or impatience. So